Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. Today is July the 10th. We have made it to July the 10th. That is totally amazing. I want to say good morning to you. I'm brought to you by Hope Through Navigation, and this is our Hood Recovery Services. You can reach me at recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Let's get into our Just for the Day in a meditation. Once again, I pulled it up, but I don't remember what it said. Here we go. A positive attitude. The old nest of negativism followed me everywhere I went. And that's from the basic text, page 137. And it's taken from one of the personal stories in the 6th edition. Okay, a negative attitude is the trademark of active addiction. Everything that occurred in our lives was someone or something else's fault. We had blaming others for our shortcomings down to a fine science. In recovery, one of the first things we strive to develop is a new attitude. We find that life goes a lot easier when we replace our negative thinking with positive principles. We can start by listening to the way we talk. Before we open our mouths, we ask ourselves some simple questions. Does what I'm going to say speak to the problem or the solution? Is what I'm going to say framed in a kind manner? Is what I have to say important, or would everyone be just as well off if I kept my mouth shut? Am I talking just to hear myself talk? Or is there some purpose to my words of wisdom? Our attitudes are expressed in our actions. Often it's not what we say, but the way we say it that really matters. As we learn to speak in a more positive manner, we will notice our attitudes improving as well. Just for today, I want to be free of negativity. Today, I will speak and act positively. Wow. That meditation is one that is so deep. Like on the surface, it appears to just be about having a good attitude, a positive attitude, and speaking optimistically instead of pessimistically, right? That second or third paragraph asks us to ask ourselves some questions before we start to talk. Am I speaking to a solution, or am I speaking to the problem? If you start out with, well, what the problem is, or what I see as the problem is, you've started out the wrong way. Because people automatically, if you are a problem finder or a solution maker, there's a difference. I was listening to a pastor that was on my sister's timeline on Facebook. And what I found was that he was very good at pinpointing what people did. And he had video of them actually doing what he said they were doing. And it was accurate. But after I listened to about 8 of his videos, I decided that I had had enough. So he has a large following of about 100,000 people. And the purpose of his videos is to point out to everyone how certain people that are being idolized in society, in pop culture, are really attached to the occult or demonic activity. And he was right in every situation. Let me say that. He was absolutely right in every situation. So why did Mighty Stream decide to stop? Because I had listened to 8, not all the way through, right? Not all the way through. I just wanted to see what the accusation was. And based on what he was showing and what he was saying, he was absolutely 100% right. However, I noticed in between every video that he shared, he would write, make a post of about 1 or 2 sentences that was positive, like more encouraging, saying things to people: don't ever give up, don't believe that God has left you. Very positive. And I noticed after every video, he would make another post, and the post would be positive, but the video would be very direct and pointed as far as someone that's being idolized like a celebrity in their behavior. And after doing about 8 of those and seeing the pattern, I thought to myself, how much better would it be to make a video and focusing on the encouraging affirmations that he was giving, and then maybe make 1 or 2 sentences typed out and post the video and let people choose to watch it if they want. That was just for me. So I had had enough. And I came away from watching those videos saying to myself, I need to pray more for people, right? I need to pray more because some of the stuff he shared was revelatory to me. I didn't notice. I don't follow. I love gospel music, and not old school necessarily. There are some old school songs like Blessed Assurance and stuff that I enjoy. How Great Thou Art. Anyone could sing that and I would enjoy it. But I enjoy more of the contemporary gospel, more of the gospel rap. I enjoy that kind of music. And so I don't know. I just felt like I had had enough and I needed to be more encouraged. So I just turned on some gospel music and I listened to that. And I just want to say to you that you do the same thing, and I do it as well. We have a tendency to get wrapped into these conversations. Maybe we didn't even initiate them. Maybe we're just voicing our side or our opinion. And we have a tendency to have 2 conversations going on: what we're thinking and what we're actually saying. And most of the time, what we're actually saying doesn't completely represent what we're thinking. Now, there's a lot of times I tell myself, just because I think it don't mean I need to say it, be quiet, right? I have that check system for myself, and I hope you do too. But there's a lot of times the way that we say something is so rushed, so much pressure behind what we're saying. It almost sounds like a challenge to a person. Like almost we're saying, I dare you to talk back to me. I dare you to say something back to me. And we say it with so much pressure that it almost sounds like it is the absolute dogmatic truth. And what we forget is that most of our conversations, unless we're raising kids and they're the only people we ever talk to, we're talking to other adults. And it behooves me to say that we should temper what we have to say with loving kindness. Temper what we have to say in a manner that we will want other people to speak to us in. I always notice when someone is angry and trying to pretend that they're not. The anger still comes too, because what's in the heart comes, the mouth speaks what's in the heart, right? So they don't fool me. Even when they're trying to be diplomatic about something and what they're saying, there's still this undercurrent of anger, right? And so unfortunately for, some of the people that I encounter, I mean, I don't know, I'm just in the habit and I'm asking, what is that about? Like, are you okay? Because you don't sound okay. Instead of getting the attitude and just blocking them out and refusing to have a conversation, right? I generally ask, are you okay? Because you seem so angry. You seem so angry. And I do that a lot with, if you're in my life in any kind of intimate way, right? You've heard me say, are you okay? And generally that means, regardless of what you're saying, the manner in which you're speaking tells me that something's not right. And I try to make sure, people say this about me a lot. They say, you just have a calm, soothing voice. And I think to myself, that has to be God. That has to be God, because there's a lot of times I don't feel calm and I don't feel soothing, but I have trained myself to speak respectfully to people when I'm talking to them. Because the other part, right? The part where I raise my voice and I make sure that you know that I'm talking is so full of arrogance, anger, resentment, unforgiveness, pride, very ungodly for me, very unspiritual for me. And it stays with me after I've had that encounter with such pressure and intensity. That stays with me. And because I can be prideful as well, it's hard for me to double back and say, I'm sorry for speaking to you that way. Because in my heart of hearts, I'm thinking, if you push my button to that extent, mighty stream, if you push my button to that extent, you deserve what you got. But even when I feel the individual is deserving of what I gave them, it never fails 100% of the time. Listen to me. 100% of the time, within seconds, there's a spirit that convicts me of the manner in which I spoke to another human being, without fail. So what I'm saying to you is that I believe we should do better about how we talk to people. I know that I need to, because I don't like the way that I come away and how it makes me feel afterwards. And that means that I have to correct that, because a lot of times I don't go back and say, I'm sorry about that, right? Because I'm too caught up in, well, I done said it now. It needed to be said, right? Right? I'm working on that so that I don't have to have that feeling of conviction afterwards. I don't like that feeling that I have someone that is on my 10th step and I need to make prompt amends. I do not like that feeling. Right? If you're new to the program, you might not get all of that when I'm talking about making prompt amends in step 10, right? But if you err against someone and you walk away and you have a feeling of knowing that you did wrong, the way that you addressed that, they need to go on your 10th step list. Those are people that you need to double back and make prompt amends to. And I hate doing that. I hate doing that, right? But it's what keeps me free. Matter of fact, it's not what keeps me free. What keeps me free is a step 1. I'm powerless over people, places, and things, as well as drugs, right? So when I pick up the first one, I can't tell you when I'm going to pick up the last one. So when I pick up the first behavior that checks someone, I can't tell you where it's going to stop. Usually it stops with me tossing and turning in bed, uncomfortable, because I treated another human being without dignity. And then I have to make that right. And I have done that. I've done it several times, but I have not had to do it lately. And when I say that, I mean, I probably have slips like that more with my nuclear family, right? My husband and my two boys. I have times when I have to correct what I've said immediately. But outside of us, no, because I try to make sure that I work at things preventively, proactively, and I watch how I talk and how I treat people. And I want you to do the same thing. And you may not say it, but if you post it, you might as well have said it, right? And I know that with words and posting and being online and sharing in Zoom meetings, we can be a bit passive aggressive, even more than we have been in the past. But we need to grow up, right? We need to grow up and act like we are spiritually principled individuals, because we are. And like Brendan Burchard says, bring the energy, bring your best self to the game. And that's what I want for you to do today. I want you to bring your best self to the game. I want you to be free of negativity. I want you to speak and act positively. And I'm going to do the same. I've enjoyed your company, and I will be talking to you tomorrow.